and welcome to the channel. My name is Kubeir. I'm a CICC licensed immigration consultant. This channel is all about Canadian immigration news, updates, things you should do, things you definitely should not. On 31st of May, Canada's Immigration Minister Sean Fraser has announced the launch of the category-based selection draws for the express entry candidates. Canada launches the category-based draws. The category-based selections will allow Canada to issue invitations to apply to prospective permanent residents with specific skills, trainings, or language ability. Categories that have been chosen for 2023, first category, French language proficiency. You need to score 7 in all 4 factors, at least. That's the minimum requirement. In healthcare occupations, you have quite a lot of knock codes. Actually, almost 82 or 83 knock codes in total have been identified in these several categories. Then you have the STEM occupations, science, technology, engineering, and math occupations, in which you have the IT, the account, the engineering, and I think certain other professions as well. Trade occupations, some carpenters, plumbers, and other trade occupations have been included. Transport occupations, airline pilots have been included. Transport truck drivers have been included. And then the agriculture and agri-food occupations. These are the 6 main categories that have been included for this year. The first category-based invitations to apply are expected to be sent this summer. Now, summer basically officially starts from the 21st of June and runs until the 23rd of September. We do not know when in summer the draws will start, but let's see. Wednesday, 21st of June is the beginning of summer and is also a draw date. So if that draw day you have the new category-based draws, well, then that will be a very exciting day to see how this whole thing plays out. Who will get invited? First of all, eligibility, knock code, and then the CRS code. First of all, you have to be eligible. You have to be eligible to enter the express entry pool, as I was explaining to you earlier. If you're not even eligible, you forget about the category and forget about the category-based draws. They mean nothing at all. You have to be eligible. For federal skilled worker, you have to score 67 points. You have to have 1 year of continuous work experience, and you have to have the sufficient proof of funds. And of course, you have to have your IELTS, CLB 7 at least in all 4 factors. That is the minimum condition for you to be eligible under the federal skilled worker program. Canadian experience class, you could be CLB 5, you could be CLB 7, depending on your knock code. Okay, certain knock codes, if your category code is that, then you can also get away with CLB 5 with your English language. You do not need to have, as Canadian experience, you do not need to have continuous work experience. You can also have multiple knock codes, multiple employers. That's also fine. But you still need to be eligible in Canadian experience class by having work experience of at least 1 year in more than 1 occupations, also acceptable within the last 3 years. That is the criteria. And then, of course, your CRS score is extremely important. Your CRS score has to be up there so that whenever they conduct the draws and the CRS cutoff is announced, then you are eligible to get through. And in this case, knock code also becomes very, very important. Out of those 82, 83 knock codes that have been identified, your knock code should be one of those primary knock codes. Now, the thing which is bonking a lot of people, is bothering a lot of people, is confusing a lot of people, is the criteria of 6 months of work experience. Now, what IRCC has done is, within those categories, they have said, if you have 6 months of work experience in that knock code, in that work experience for that category that has been announced, then you would be eligible for the category-based draws. This is making people think that in express entry, you will be eligible with only 6 months of work experience. That is not true. Please understand this. First, you have to be eligible in express entry. So you have to comply with all the conditions and requirements of express entry. Then you have to be able to come into the category. Okay. So for example, let's say you have 3 years of work experience. Okay. So you have 3 years of work experience. You have a master's degree. You have CLB 10. Your score is 481. Voila. Within those 3 years, you have at least 1 year of continuous work experience. Therefore, you're a federal skilled worker. The other 2 years, you have been working with 2 or 3 different employers, of which in one employment, you have 6 months of work experience, which is in the category that you're looking for. Now, you could be eligible, but you will not be eligible. And the reason for that is you cannot choose this knock code as your primary knock code because it's only 6 months of work experience. This then tells you this 6 months of continuous work experience requirement is mainly for Canadian experience class candidates, it will give them advantage, not the federal skilled worker. For federal skilled worker, you will still need to have 1 year of work experience. If you do not have 1 year of work experience, you cannot choose that knock code as your primary knock code. If you cannot choose that as your primary knock code, you will therefore not get invited under the category based draws. If you want to be selected in the category based draws, if you have the work experience, you have to choose that knock code as your primary knock code. If you don't choose it as your primary knock code, then the system is not going to identify you as the person who is eligible, who qualifies under that category, and hence you may not get invited. Therefore, this becomes of even bigger and more critical importance for people who are inside Canada, who are Canadian experience class. For you guys, this is a jackpot. You can choose the knock code under the category based knock code if you have work experience in that knock code for at least 6 months, because hey, 1 year of continuous work experience does not apply to you. So therefore, if you have 6 months of work experience within the last 3 years in Canada, you're a Canadian experience class, that becomes your primary knock code, and off you go. This is